fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the Elite Seeker and Ground Soldier 2-pack from the Transformers Studio series from Hasbro. These are basically two of the grunts that you see in Transformers Devastation, just kind of no-name characters for your Autobots to just wail on throughout the game. Now these are technically part of the More Than Meets the Eye collection, which means they are a Target exclusive, and that's also why the artwork on the box here has this like primarily red with like black and gray shading to it, which, okay, I get it, Target, you're red, but I really would have liked to see, you know, artwork with the actual color scheme on there. I just think that would have popped more. Not that this looks terrible, but like, I don't know, Target makes them do everything in red. I think it's dumb. Up here you can see the Transformers Devastation logo, and again the name of the Elite Seeker and Ground Soldier there. Not really much going on the bottom. Got a close-up of the artwork for the robot mode of the Ground Soldier on this side, and then the close-up of the artwork for the robot mode of the Elite Seeker on this side. And then on the back here you can see two pictures, basically how they appear in the game. I think it's hilarious that the Seeker has these crazy Optimus Primal swords, but you can see here it's kind of tapering off to the side, but he did have them in the game, so they are not just randomly included here. They were randomly included in the game, but their inclusion here makes sense. But yeah, I think they recreated them pretty perfectly, honestly, and I love this kind of cell shading on the windows and everything that they have going on here. I'm really excited for that. So I think this is cool, just kind of a neat, you know, grunt 2-pack that you can army build if you want. If they go on sale, I honestly might grab another one or two. I was thinking about it. I saw them at Target the other day. I got this one from Target online, and while I was waiting for it to get here, I saw them in store, and I was like, I could just get a second one, but I'm going to wait for a sale, I think. But so far, I think they're pretty good. Now, of course, they are reuses of molds we've already seen. The Ground Soldier is the Runabout, Run-Amok mold from a couple years ago, and the Elite Seeker is, you know, just one of the cone heads we've seen 100 times at this point. So, still excited, though. I'm going to go ahead, get them out of the box, and we'll take a closer look. So here is the Elite Seeker and Ground Soldier out of the packaging. They look great. 100% faithful recreations from the game. I do think that this brighter color scheme is just a little bit more fun. Again, not Hasbro's fault. They 100% took the color scheme from the game. Even back when I was playing that game, I was like, this is the best we could do. It's just everything's so dark. It's the dark gunmetal gray with the black. And I just thought it was kind of a boring color scheme then. I still think it is. But again, not Hasbro's fault. They recreated it faithfully, 100%. What I do absolutely love is that kind of cell shading effect for the canopy here. That looks fantastic. Get a little bit of red in the thighs there. That pops. And these accessories all painted with this beautiful metallic silver all look phenomenal. So that's all really great, really nice to look forward to there. You can see a little bit more of the canopy there on the back. That looks really great. And you do have kind of a cool matte finish, especially on the back here to the gray that I do kind of like. So again, it looks phenomenal. It's exactly like he appears in the game. I wish back in the day when they made the game, they had given him a little bit more of an exciting color scheme, that's all. But they gave this guy a beautiful color scheme. I love this blue with this almost purplish blue here for kind of the hands, the shoulders, and the thighs. That all looks great. The head sculpt looks good. I love that visor there with the face mask. Very, you know, drone, gruntish looking head sculpt there. That's fantastic. Nice Decepticon symbol. Love the same kind of orange cell-shaded window parts there. That looks phenomenal. He has kind of a basic sword here, again, done in this beautiful silver metallic paint. So, all in all, really, really cool. I like how both of these turned out. Aesthetically, they are pretty close to perfect, honestly. Now, again, they are older molds. We've seen them before. I feel like we haven't seen this one as frequently. We got Runabout, we got Run-Amok. I'm sure they did something else with it at some point, and I just can't remember off the top of my head. But again, it's exactly, you know, the design they used in the game. Very faithful. The head sculpt, they nailed it. I really like this guy. This is definitely, if you couldn't tell, my favorite out of the two. Now again, blue is my favorite color, so I'm probably a little partial. But just when you put these two guys next to each other, like this one just kind of leaps out at you, and then this one's just kind of super dark. Again, it's a fine color scheme. To me, it's just a little lackluster. I'll stop harping on it. Anyway, so I was not as familiar with this mold as I am with, you know, the Seeker mold's been done to death. Even the Conehead version of it's been done to death. They've been re-released. They've been done in G2 color schemes. You know, we know the Seeker mold pretty faithfully in and out at this point. You know, and this is just another use of it. It's still a good mold. I feel like it still holds up pretty decently well. Transformation's still fun. Again, I'm sure you know it by heart. We'll go through it later. Head sculpt's good. Nice red paint for the eyes there. Silver paint for the face. That's all good. You can look up. Can't really look down that much. You can turn side to side. Mine's a little stiff. Swivel, hinge at the shoulder. Swivel at the bicep. 90-degree at the elbow. Nothing in the wrist because of how it transforms. Nothing in the waist. You can lift up the little front skirt there so that he can kind of kick forward. Now he's got these ridiculously massive shin pads, if you or knee pads, I guess, if you want to move those out of the way and come up over the little skirt. You can get it up a little bit higher. Not quite the full 90 to the front, and probably not quite, actually only about 45 degrees out to the side there. I thought I remembered more. Swivel there at the thigh, 90-degree bend. This does like to pop out though. I wonder if it's just mold fatigue at this point, but the little tab that tabs into those knee pads likes to pop out on me, and there it goes again. Yeah, but anyway, you got the knee bend there, and then you have about 45-degree ankle tilt, but the toes and the heels can also go down because of the transformation, so you have movement there as well. Like I said, probably not any surprises for anyone watching this when it comes to the Seeker mold. That is pretty tried and true at this point, but love the weapons. Beautiful metallic paint there. To me, the highlight of this is the accessories and the orange cell-shaded paint scheme. That's what really leaps out to me about this guy. Back over here to the ground soldier. Again, I think they really nailed that head sculpt. I think that looks fantastic. I love the red visor. Got the kind of faceplate there. Very basic. Very grunt-like head sculpt, which I think fantastic design there, and they've recreated it from the game pretty perfectly. Can look down. Unfortunately, that pops up a little bit. But you can move the head a little bit like that, side to side. You can even tilt side to side ever so slightly. You have a hinge there and a rotation in the shoulder. 90 degrees there in the knee. The knee, that's his elbow. 90 degrees in the elbow, bicep swivel. Nothing in the hand or wrist because, as you can see, it just folds into those forearms. Got a waist swivel there. Kick pretty far forward. Kick pretty decently back, but you do start to hit into the black part of the chest there. So can't do like a full 90 out to the side, but you can do, well, no, can't do a full... I swear my brain. I haven't slept, if you can't tell. So, yes, can't go that far back, but can go very far out to the side. Got a thigh swivel there. Slightly less than 90 in the knee. Pretty decent ankle tilt. A little bit of front to back as well because of transformation. So, I feel like all the articulation you'd need. A little hollow from the back, though, I have to say. Especially you can see just like the parts of the leg. I kind of wish there was something that would close over this, and nowadays there would be. I was thinking about this. I think this was back from Earthrise. I think that's when we got Runabout and Run Amok. So that's 5-6 years at this point. You know, older than you'd think. Older than you'd think, but still works. Still looks great, and I love it in this color scheme. So these two together are really cool. I love that this is kind of a, you know, drone / grunt army builder pack. I think that's really cool. And of course, if you're going to have grunts who need to be taken out, then it's time to bring in Devastation Optimus Prime. You can see he is about, well, I was going to say halfway in between, but I guess he's not really. He's slightly taller than the ground soldier, and maybe a cone head shorter than the Seeker, but that makes sense because these are both deluxes and this is a Voyager, so he should be shorter. But yeah, and I love that they all have bladed weapons, so you can have him clashing with the axe and the blade. Very, very cool. You can have Optimus taking out these two blades and all his power moves and everything from the game. I wish, you know what I really wish? all this love for the game, I don't have a way to play it anymore. I wish that they would reissue it, put it on PlayStation, put it on Switch or something so I can play it again. I really would like to play it again, and I don't really have a way. I guess I could try to figure out an emulator for my computer, but I'm not that talented. Or I'd have to like fish out my 360 and figure out where that is. But anyway, Hasbro, reissue this game. We want to play it again, especially with all these cool toys coming out. But yeah, these three look pretty cool together. Alright, so transformation for the Seeker. I am going to run through this very quickly. We have seen this so many times. I'm sure most of you can do this in your sleep. But just in case you're new to this, I'm going to take all the accessories off. We are going to start by taking the fuselage here, flipping this up over the head, making sure that this all goes and then clicks into place there. Kind of put the arms out to the side. We are going to open up the chest and bring this back. Then we're going to pop this up to about here, spin it 180, come around and peg that in right there. We are going to take the arms. We are going to open up the forearm section like so. And then this, let me get in a little bit closer. This is going to flip back and clip over like that. And then fold that closed and then put the arm, or the hand I should say, up there like that. So to show that again a little bit better, we're going to open up the forearm, and you can see that there is this like gray piece that is actually going to fit in this little hole behind the fist. So when you're popping this in, that's going to fit through there, as these like little pieces will clip up into this section. So boom, close that up, and then take the fist and pop it up there. Zoom back out, put the arms straight down and tuck them into the body. And then you can close this back up. And for whatever reason, mine don't always like to close up that well. Maybe I'm doing something incorrectly, but I don't think so. Next, we're going to come to the legs, bring the wings, slide them to the side. Just to be careful, these parts do not move, so if you try to move these wing pieces, they are stationary. It's only this part of the wing that moves around that part. But then you're going to open up the shins, pop this in, peg the legs together, and then they will peg into these two tabs right there. And then you can just close these up. And then you're going to want to close up the heels and the toes for the back. And then this part you just kind of push down like this and that. And there you go. There is your Elite Seeker in vehicle mode. So as you can see, the color scheme has gotten a little bit blander in the vehicle mode because there's almost no black. You have this little bit here in the front, and then everything else is pretty much just this gray. I will say that the Decepticon symbols look pretty good on the wings, but I wish they had maybe just like these pieces here also in black. I really just wish that they had integrated a little bit more red. I like the red for the thighs, so maybe do these in red, or do the feet in red, or maybe do the hands, the forearms in red. Just a little bit more red, I think, would have gone a long way. But yeah, in vehicle mode, it's even more bland because it's very much gray. But again, love that cell shading for the cockpit. It really needs that. I mean, they could have done like a cell shading across the entire body, but that probably wouldn't have worked. I think having it in just a couple key areas makes it pop. If you try to do it for the entire figure, I mean, they did it back in the day for that Optimus and Megatron, and those looked okay. I don't know. I can't decide how I feel about that, but I do really like the little bit that is here. Now, you can still store the accessories, even the two giant blades, so you can peg them in on the sides here. And we're just going to, I think this one goes on this side, peg it in, and then just drop it down, and they just kind of rest there against the side. There's nothing super integrated or anything like that. And then you can take the guns and peg them right here on the wings. So that way all of the accessories can be connected for the vehicle mode. And there you go. Looking pretty good. Doesn't have landing gear or anything. It kind of looks like this should be, but that's how these pieces connect to each other when you pop this off. It is not landing gear. So, yeah. Classic Conehead Seeker mold. Still hanging in there. Alright, for the ground soldier, like I said, it took me a minute because I have not done this one in quite some time. Going to put the weapon off to the side. We're going to flip the hands into the forearms, like so. And then we are going to rotate them 180 degrees, like that, because this is going to be the side of the car. We are going to rotate the waist 180 degrees. And then we can go ahead and snap the legs and the feet and everything all together like that. Then you're going to pop these off. So how this works, you can probably see there were two little tabs right here, and they were pegged in there and there. So you're going to pop them out, and then you're going to fold this all down. Nope, not the feet, not yet. Bring this down, and now they should go down. There we go. Like that, and it should kind of snap in down here. And then once you have that, then you can close the feet up over top of that. So that's pretty much the whole front of the car. At this point, you are going to lift up the head, and then you're going to lift up the chest, and then fold the head into the chest. And then you want to grab a hold of this like entire backpack light blue section and pull this away. And then that will allow this to drop down. So these two tabs right here and here were pegged in right there and there. So now that that's all free, you can bring these up and then bring this back down. You can see that there's a little tab right here, which will slot in right there. So you can kind of bring that down like so. And then bring this one up and do the same. You can close that back up, and then this will just, you have to pop this back. There we go. You can see there are two wheels in there. So we're going to pop them out to the side, and then this will drop down like that, and then this whole thing will drop down like this. And the way this is supposed to work, you can see that there are tabs right here, and there is another one right there. And they're supposed to tab into these two spots right there and there. Mine don't really like to. So I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. I don't think I am, but I don't know. They just, you can see it kind of wants to pop back up, which is kind of a bummer. Sometimes it's better than others, but ultimately that is what is supposed to happen. I don't know why it won't stay connected in, but there is the ground soldier in vehicle mode. So again, I love the color scheme. I love the cell shaded window there. Kind of wish it extended onto the two side windows, but at least they're painted orange. I think that looks pretty great. Decepticon symbol there on the side looks good. Little pop of the darker color blue there. Got the back window painted black, which I got to admit is a little weird considering these are all orange. Why wouldn't we paint this orange? I don't know. The back, I think, is painted pretty well. Wheels roll decently. No pins or anything. They're just kind of like mushroom pegged on there, but they spin decently enough. If you want to attach the weapon, you can peg that here on the top, like so. It's really a shame. I don't really know why it doesn't want to peg in there. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong, but I can't figure out what. I don't know. I feel like, does this have to be up higher or something? Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't seem to want to cooperate. It might just be mold fatigue because this one's been kicking around for quite some time. But overall, I still really like the color scheme. I like the cell-shaded windows. I don't really know why the back window is painted black. Back of the car paint job looks great. So, it's a cool little car. Rolls pretty well. Fun colors. I think this is a really fun set. I really like the look of both of these. I know I kind of harped on the Seeker's color scheme a bit. Again, that was something that was decided back when the original game was made. It's grown on me a little bit, even just during the filming of the video. But I'm obviously going to just love the blue little guy. He's 100% my favorite out of the two. I still think it's a really fun troop builder little 2-pack here. You know, you could get a couple of these and just kind of build out a display of Optimus or some of the other Autobots once we get them. We know Wheeljack and Sideswiper coming also from Target later on. So, you know, you could just kind of build a little display with a couple of these. Now, the other thing I think is possible, these guys do have other color schemes in the game. I'm pretty sure that there are yellow versions, and I almost want to say like a pinkish purple as well of the ground soldier. And I think there's almost like a Skywarpy color scheme for the Elite Seeker as well. So I would not be surprised for them to crank out another 2-pack with a different color scheme. And I would definitely go for that as well, I think, depending on if it's done well. So yeah, I think you could definitely have a cool display, maybe get 2 of each of the varieties and build something out. I think that could be a lot of fun. I'm going to call it now, I'm sure a lot of other people are also expecting this. I would assume at some point they are going to do a kind of cell-shaded repaint of the Constructicons and put that out as well. Would not be surprised. They're going to wait until everyone buys the Constructicons the first time because they're still kind of on the way of coming out. And then once that's down and everyone has their Devastator, they're going to go, oh, by the way, here's a cool cell-shaded repaint of these 6 because, you know, Devastator was such a huge part of that game. Devastation. And I would not be surprised. So again, probably everyone else suspects that. Probably not, you know, making a huge prophecy here, but I definitely think that's going to happen at some point. So I think it's fun. I really, like I said, I kind of just want them to re-release the game some way because I want to play it again, and I don't have a convenient way to do that. So, yeah, Hasbro, work on that. Give us a Devastation re-release. Keep the toys coming. I think these are fun. Like I said, it's a Target exclusive. I think the pack is $60, which is honestly not bad when you think about the fact that Voyagers are usually $35 and Deluxes are usually $25. So that would put you at, well, I guess that would be $60, so never mind. It's not a good deal. Don't listen to me. In any case, I still think it's fun. I still think you should pick it up. And I hope they do some more color schemes and give us some more soldiers in the other versions so we can get a couple of these 2-packs and start to build out a little army. I think that'll be fun. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.